I got a scar on my knee.
Yeah, scar. Knee. Yeah.
Hey gang, Jeff Stone here with day, I don't even know, don't care, of the year 2016 at magicreview.com. If you're wondering where I've been, well then take a look. Is it this side? Or is it this side? One of those two spots, there will be a video that will tell you where I've been. Anyway, this cough, it's part of where I've been. Holy cow. All right, so let's get a drink here. Oh, yeah. Okay, so today we're taking a look at Scarne on Card Tricks by John Scarne. Scarne, whatever. So, here's the deal, guys. First of all, I'm going to recommend this book. Highly recommend this book. Or, better spoken, I'm going to give it 5 stars. And based on the information I give you, I will let you decide if you want this book or not. But, if you do decide to buy it, you can actually get 25% off by using the special magicreviewed.com discount code, which is WYAL. I'll put that right on the screen for you, and I'll put it in the description below. Anyway, there are 155 effects in this book. They're all card tricks, and there's only 300 pages. So what's that tell you? On average, it only takes about 2 pages to describe the tricks. And in some cases, like I know one of the first tricks in the book, let's see here. Right, come on, right there, look at that. Trick number 2, it's just a couple of paragraphs right here. Just that and that, bam. Look at these illustrations. Look how good those are, man. Look how clear and clean those are. Look at that. Just randomly turning to any page here. I'm jumping all around here because, I'm talking about product quality right now. But what are the effects? What aren't the effects? There is everything in this book. Coincidence effects, do as I do effects, packet tricks, ace tricks, cards to pocket, stuff in the spectator's hands, behind the back stuff, mind reading stuff, stuff with size Stebbins, which I guess that's more method than effect, but on and on and on. And the list of people whose effects are published in this book, obviously a bunch of them are John Scarne's, but man, I'll just take all right, you ready for this? Seriously. Here we go. Harry Lorayne, Francis Carlyle, Joseph Dunninger, Marting Gardner, Bill Simon, Al Baker, Cardini, Bob Hummer, Charles Jordan, Dr. Daly, Cardini, I said that already, Vernon, Nate Leipzig, Francis Carlyle, I think I said him already, Max Holden. I'm just naming the ones that you're probably going to recognize. Jack Miller, Walter Gibson, Harry Houdini, heard of him? Herman the Great, Theodore Anneman, Bill Simon, Bert Allerton, Hentry Christ, Al Flosso, Audley Walsh, and a buttload more. Some that you probably, Otis Manning, Nate Leipzig. Anyway, John Mulholland, tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of people, and I didn't even scratch the surface on the amount of people that are in here. Frank Garcia, Blackstone, Malini, Howard Thurston, Nicola, however you say it, Howard Thurston, on and 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 freaking on and on, dudes and dudettes. I know Ekaterina watches my channel, so there's at least one sister watching this. She's probably the only one. No, there's a few. Anyway, so there's a ton of stuff in here. A ton of stuff in here. If you're looking for card tricks as a beginner, intermediate, or pro, you will be very happy with this. What about the methods? None of them require sleight of hand. All 155 of them use other things. Glimpses, what do you call it? Gimmicks is the word I was looking for there. Stacks or size Stebbins, I guess that's a stack. Subtlety, prearranged, not in the sense of a stack, but other prearranged things. Just off the top of my head, that's all I can think of. But look at the written review; there's plenty more. But by the way, Victoria, I know that you also are another female watching my channel. So, anyway, there's at least two. I was trying to think of her name. It was rattling around in my head. That's why I seemed a little bit distracted. I didn't want to leave her out because she's a loyal fan. Anyway, so 2 sisters and 99.9% brothers. So on and on and on. There's tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of effects and methods in here. All these methods have stood the test of time. This is the 1950 edition of the book. And some of the methods you might think are not going to work anymore or not as cool and hip or whatever. Even the phone wizard one, that was done on the old 1950s way phones worked compared to, today with our cell phones. Everybody's got an iPhone or a smartphone or whatever. In today's world, that method still works. The Mr. Wizard version that's in here still works. It's the one that if you know a Mr. Wizard effect, you probably know this version. So this is a great resource for card effects. And here's the thing, guys. Even if you hated 90% of the material, I did the math, that leaves 15.5 effects that you still didn't hate. 15.5 effects for the price of $12.95. Not to mention, you do get 25% off if you use that coupon code WYAL. So we're talking a lot of bang for your buck here. It's less than $1 a trick if you hate 90% of the tricks. If you liked all of the tricks or you're willing to, not hate all of the tricks, then we're talking 8 cents per effect. Again, that's before your 25% discount. So bang for buck is huge. Product quality, incredible. Ad copy integrity, it's very clear and simple that it states what it is. That it's a well-illustrated book that teaches no sleight of hand tricks, and that there's 150 of them from some of the greatest minds of magic, and all written and described by John Scarne. That's exactly what you get, all for $13. And the one thing I did not mention in the written review, I did mention part of this. Because these are all self-working, you might think, well, it's dealing and counting and this kind. No, actually, there are some that are like that, for sure. But most of them are not. They're not the kind of stuff where it's these boring procedures and deal 17 piles over here and 8 piles there and do this and count that. No, it's not a lot of that. There's a few, but not a lot of that kind of stuff. A lot of it's much more simple and clever and clean and better than that, frankly. But even those methods, if you do it the right presentation, can work. The other thing is there are some... usually when you get a book that has very short descriptions, there's not a lot of information about presentation or possible presentational hooks, whereas in this case there are. There's one that just stands out. I remember, and I think this was a Vernon effect, where it was an inline about how... I'm going to cough here, guys. Sorry about that. Excuse me. There's an inline about how, this is not real, but it's a cool presentational idea, that your breath leaves an imprint on a card. And so if you have a spectator breathe on a card, you can find their card in the deck. I think that's just an interesting inline. And again, I don't judge, whether I like the presentation or not is irrelevant, but I pointed out to let you know that there are things like that sprinkled throughout the book. So if you're looking for some ideas on presentation concepts and so forth, then you may find some stuff that you'll be happy with in here. So, solid book, guys. I can't recommend it highly enough if you're a card person. If you're not a card person, then hang up the phone, folks. Get on, go watch this review. What's the point? Other than, you think I'm cool and sexy and you just want to stare at my face. Oh, yeah. I know you want some of this. But I'm married, so back off, Bob. Anyway, here's the thing, guys. If you're going to get this, you might as well save 25% on it. And look, I know you're probably thinking, well, Jeff's giving it a good review because, he's got a deal with Dover or whatever. No. Yeah, I do have a deal with Dover. And yeah, they are paid advertisers on Magic Reviewed and My Lovely Assistant. Yes. That is not why I'm giving this a good review, though. So, I'm giving this a good review because this is a good book, and I've had this book in my collection for a long time. This is my original copy that I've had forever. I got the new one from Dover for review, but I've had this old thing in my collection forever. So this is a great book. It's a really, really good book. If you're a beginner, this is an excellent entry into card magic. If you're a professional, it's an excellent resource. And again, in a world today where you're paying, $25 to $30 for one trick, I mean, we're talking 8 cents per effect in here, guys. I would be shocked if there was not, at least 5 or 6 tricks in here that made this worth your while. Again, if you're not a card guy, don't bother. If you're a card person at all, this is worth your time to take a look at because there's a ton of great material in there. So, this is a 5-star review, guys. Stone Status, a gem, capital G, capital E, capital M, exclamation point. So, there you have it. If you're going to get it from Dover. Down in the description is the code WYAL. I'll put it on your screen as well. And you can get 25% off. So, thanks for watching, folks. Now it's time to subscribe. I think it's over there to my channel. Pretty sure it's over there. And like the video, share it out to all of your social media folks. And listen to the random iTunes song of the moment, which is I'd Die For You by Bon Jovi off the Slippery When Wet album. Man, that brings back some memories. When I was living in the 80s, I grew up, I'm sure you guys know this, I grew up on classic country. Hank Williams, Patsy Cline, that kind of stuff. And I always listened to that, and I love it. I still love it. But, I was probably 12, 13, 14, something like that when this album came out. And I used to, occasionally I would go places, with my dad or something in his truck, and he had the old radio buttons. You remember those where you push the button and the dial would go and jump? So he would run into the store or something, and I would just want to hang out in the truck and listen to music. And so I pushed the radio button, just surfing around, and every time I did that, the song that, I'm not kidding, every time, the song that was on the radio was How Will I Know by Whitney Houston. Every time. And I'm like, that's a catchy tune, right? Whether you're into that kind of music or not, it's a catchy tune. And I'm like, wow, this is good stuff, So this is what this rock and roll thing's all about, right? But that same station was always like the American Top 40 type station. And within a song or two, You Give Love a Bad Name by Bon Jovi would come on. And I'm like, man, what is this? Where have you been all my life, rock and roll? So I heard that song, and I'm like, dude. And, of course, Raised on Radio by Journey was big at the time, and occasionally a song from that would come on. And so when I'd go to the arcade, I would dump, a nickel for 10 songs or whatever it was back then into the jukebox. Yes, we had those. And if you don't know what it is, Google it. And I would put on the playlist Raised on Radio, I'll Be Alright Without You, and then You Give Love a Bad Name. And listen to that while I was playing video games. I eventually bought the Slippery When Wet album, and holy cow, what a great album that is. It's one of the best albums that I've ever owned. Just absolutely love that album. And I was a big fan of Wanted Dead or Alive before anybody else, before they released it. That's just one of my favorite tunes from them. And I always wished that they would make more music like that. And bam, what's he do? He comes out with the Young Guns soundtrack, Young Guns 2 soundtrack, and it's all full of that kind of music. Anyway, this review is now officially, I think the random iTunes song of the moment has taken more time than the review. So I'm going to shut up. Tune in next time, which I'm not promising when that will be, nor am I promising what the product is. But tune in next time where I'll review something. Till then, folks, thanks for watching. Peace out.